I suppose it starts with curiosity of, I wonder what that will feel like. And then once you've done it, you will know. So you don't need to do it again. So I'm always looking for new experiences.
A little while ago, I had the pleasure of having a sit-down conversation with the fetish model Aloralux. I was super curious as to, in her explorations, how does she keep herself safe? How does she keep everything fresh? How does she manage her own mental health issues in combination with kink? Check it out, it's a really interesting conversation.
There was definitely a point in my teen years and my early 20s when I went sub-frenzy and I was doing too much too quickly and I put myself in danger, and I wouldn't recommend that. And one of my kind of roles at the moment within the kink community is guarding people from making those mistakes. I know everyone has to make their own mistakes, but I know that if somebody's dangerous, and I have a friend who comes to me and goes, oh, hey, I've had a message from so-and-so, I'm thinking of going and playing with them, I'd be like, okay, hold on a second. How much do you know about this person? Because here's what I know. And it might not be a good choice for them to do that. It's really difficult to try and stay safe all the time in kink because by nature it's dangerous. It is dangerous. Wrestling is dangerous. Living is dangerous. You can't go through life without taking risks, but you can make educated risks. And so when I do extreme play, I don't just go into it without thinking. I take a lot of time. I have a lot of conversations. We do tests if we need to do tests, and then we do the play. And sometimes things go wrong, but that's how you learn. Nothing too bad so far. I like creativity. So yes, I do seek these things out. Yes, I'm a thrill seeker. Yes, I like extreme stuff a lot of the time. Not all the time. I can't be that way all the time. But yeah, I do seek out these people, and there have been points in my life, very low points, where I have actively used kink to self-harm and to hurt myself. And I've used people in that way, and that's a really bad thing to do. It's a terrible thing to do, because that bad experience, not only is it hurting me, it's hurting that other person as well, be it a dom or a sub or whoever, somebody that I'm meeting for the first time and never going to see again. It doesn't matter. That if something happens in that play or in that scene that makes them think, oh God, I've done something wrong, that's going to stick with them forever. It will, no matter what people say about it. Any mistake that we make as a human will play on our mind. No one is guiltless in any way, but yeah, there have definitely been times when I've used kink in a bad way, and I like to share those experiences and talk about them as a way of maybe helping other people not to make those mistakes. There's a lot of it going around at the moment, and it's quite upsetting, and one of the reasons why I really wanted to be here with you today and have these discussions is to talk about how dangerous it is to do things without knowing how to do them properly, or how dangerous it is to meet people that you can't trust, you don't know, complete strangers off the internet. It's not safe to do it. Stop doing it. Whenever I need something or I'm craving something, be it that big thrill or something really extreme to make me feel alive again, I'll go to my partner and he'll help me do it safely. And that's what's really important to me is, yes, I have these feelings, I have these cravings, I want to do awful things, but I can't be a child about it. So as well as being a kinky girl, I'm also into the swing scene and into a lot of sexual play as well. So a lot of the things that I want to do to push myself and challenge myself are things that are quite extreme sexual play. I enjoy gangbangs, I enjoy group sex, and I want two cocks up my ass at the same time. That's one of the things that I really want to do. That always gives everyone a grin. Another one that I fantasize about a lot, but it's going to take time to get there and the right people, is meat hook suspension. Okay, so I'm a big needle fan as well. I like how spacey needles get me. It's instant. I'll only do needles with people that I know have done needles for a long time and can do it safe, that can do it without causing me any severe injury. I Oh, I love the feeling of needles. It's amazing. So I think meat hooks is kind of almost like the next step up from that. I want to address a lot of my limits and my boundaries, and I like to push those, not too far too quickly, but over time and gradually, and sometimes quite intensely. To address my abandonment issues, I want to do 2 nights overnight in a cage, completely alone, which would be a huge challenge for me. And for some people, that sounds like heaven. I imagine if like, you've got a busy household with lots of kids or lots of noise and stuff, like, oh, 2 days alone, that's brilliant. I do not like being alone. I do not like having time by myself because I have a personality disorder. So I'm never really alone, if that makes sense. And when I am physically alone, a lot of the less friendly parts of my persona tend to appear. And I struggle with that a lot. I'm undergoing a lot of medication and, doctor's appointments and all this kind of stuff, which has been ongoing for years and years and years. And I know that it's going to be going on for the rest of my life because that's who I am and those are my problems. I've come to terms with that now, but I'm not going to let them stop me from doing what I want to do. But yeah, 2 nights overnight in the cage would be hot. Other things, okay, so my partner, Mr. Arctor, and we've got quite a unique dynamic, and we do a lot of educational stuff within our scenes. So one of the things for me is that I like to have a reason for being punished. I don't like just being hit for the sake of being hit. That does nothing for me. It hurts. I don't like it. I like to have a reason. I like to get into that character headspace of, oh, I'm getting punished because, I don't know, I didn't do my homework, if I'm being a naughty schoolgirl, or if I'm a wrestler, obviously I've got a reason to get hurt. So that's like the ultimate, really. But obviously COVID has prevented us from doing group play, and I'm missing it so much. God, I miss the sex clubs. I miss Extasia. I miss BBB so much. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier doing kink for the wrong reasons when you weren't in a great place mental health wise.
Yeah.
How do you know when you're in a good place mental health wise? How do you manage that?
Okay, that's a really good question. I guess you never know 100%, especially not with me, because I get really major mood swings and I can be absolutely fine 1 second and a complete wreck the next if I'm triggered or something happens. I think the way to do kink safely is to communicate, is to have an open dialogue with your partner. Whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is you're planning on doing, you don't have to give them all the details, but you can definitely prepare them for it. And you can give somebody an idea of what's expected of them. And just because somebody's leading a scene or topping a scene, for me, that doesn't mean that they're in complete control of it. It works both ways. And quite often for people, there's a lot of power exchange. They don't want the typical D's dynamic where sub does everything she's told to do, no matter what. They want that little bit of a fight to deserve that dominance or that kind of nature. And it works the same for somebody who submits as well as somebody who can be submissive. And I'd say my switch tendencies are probably 70-30. I'm probably more submissive than dominant. I don't just give it away. You have to earn it. You have to build trust. You have to have a relationship there to do it properly, to do it safely so that it's fulfilling. I don't think turning up at a kink club or a sex club and hooking up with some stranger and hitting each other or doing whatever you think kink is a good way to do it. I really don't. I'm one of those people that has done things like that and will probably do things like that again in the future. We're human. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. We will do things that we know are going to hurt us or people around us. We're going to do things that are stupid. Same reason why when you're coming up to a traffic light and you put your foot down as it's turning red instead of braking because you want to get through those lights. We're listening to the monkeys in our heads. We're listening to our desires and our passions and our cravings rather than logic and sense. And life is about balance. And you need to find that balance between the two where you can still enjoy creativity and fun and sensuality and freedom, but do it with the knowledge of what you're doing. Don't just jump into something without any kind of inclination of what it's going to involve, because you're risking too much. As a risk taker, it's hard for me to say things like that because it makes me feel a bit like a hypocrite, and I feel like people are going to look at me and go, well, you take risks all the time, you know, you get thrown around in the ring, or you get tied up and have cold water poured all over you and you're left there for hours. What if you were to get hypothermia and all this kind of stuff? I'm like, yeah, okay, I do take risks, but I knowingly take these risks. I've researched it, I've spoken to people, I've had these conversations, and when things don't go the right way, when they go wrong, which they do, you can at least say, I did the risk assessment, I knew that this was a possibility. It's when you go into something blind. And I think the reason people do it is the buzz, it's the fear, it's the unknown. It's that way it makes you get those butterflies in your stomach and throw up in your own mouth, you know, out of like, oh my fucking God, what's going to happen right now? That is an amazingly addictive feeling. But it is a dangerous feeling, and if you catch yourself doing it and you're able to draw yourself back, reel yourself in a little bit, and then go a little bit slower, you'll still get those highs, you'll still get those rushes, and they will be better for it, you know. That's just my experience. I'd say it's everybody's.
Hey, I hope you found the video useful. Thank you again to Alora for helping me with that. Thank you to our patrons for making this video possible. If you want to check out Patreon, there's lots of goodies over there, so thank you for supporting us. By the way, if you like the video, you might want to check out this conversation I had with the fetish model Erin Rose. Bye bye.
I can't remember what your question was, I'm just talking now. Did I answer it?